Welcome to Greg and Mortis's Little World of Horror. This is my movie review of the week / from the stash, and very excited to be back with you another week on these movie reviews. I hope you've been enjoying these as much as I am. I'm constantly watching movies, so what better way to, bring to you what I watch, and that's through movie reviews. Definitely, if you have never checked us out, I do host a horror podcast called Land of the Creeps with myself, Sean Davis, a.k.a. Haddonfield Hatchet, also Jesse Robbins, and Dr. Shock. So if you don't subscribe or if you've never checked out Land of the Creeps, definitely check us out on iTunes, Stitcher. You can check our website out at landofthecreeps.blogspot.com and check out all our episodes. We're up to currently 76. We just recorded 77 a couple nights ago. So if you do not subscribe or have not checked out Land of the Creeps, definitely do that. It's a fun-filled episode podcast where every 2 weeks we review horror movies, and we just do a fun review of them and give you insights. So what I do here on these movie reviews is just a fraction of what we do in the podcast, but this is just another avenue for me to bring out reviews for you, the fans. So this movie this week we're going to review is none other than Wolf Creek 2, and this one is just released this week on Tuesday, and it's June 29th as I'm recording this. And this is the sequel, of course, to the first Wolf Creek. And what I wanted to mention before I actually get into the actual movie review of this is the features and everything. This does have the slipcover case, so very excited about that. That's always a plus. You also get the Creating a Monster, the making of Wolf Creek 2. So you get a good documentary, and then plus you get the Butcher's Cut, which is deleted scenes. I have not watched the making of, but I did watch the deleted scenes. Deleted scenes were kind of funny. Definitely needed to be deleted because it didn't really play into the movie. I think it would have drug it down a little bit. Once again, here's the back of the movie there. And excuse me for looking to the side, but that's where I have to look at my screen. But it's one of the best horror villains in decades, according to Bloody Disgusting. So let's break into it a little bit. To give you a little background on it, I believe we should talk about Wolf Creek 1 briefly. Wolf Creek 1 Part 1 was such a great horror film, and both of these were filmed in Australia. It takes place in Australia, and that's one thing I loved, is because of the setting of Australia. It's such a beautiful country, a lot of open fields, and just a great scenery. So it really makes for a good horror film. So I enjoyed that. But also, the fact that this is somewhat loosely based on a true story. Andrew Ballina, what's up, Andrew? Man, shout out to you. If you don't subscribe to Andrew Ballina, definitely do that. He's got a great YouTube channel. But he had mentioned that it is based solely on a character. It's an individual that was a serial killer that was killing backpackers. So this movie, first one and the second one, is loosely based on a true event of what had happened. So to break it down, I believe what I'll do is go ahead and give you the plot off the back of the Blu-ray box here. And it says, lured by the promise of an Australian holiday, exchange student Paul visits the notorious Wolf Creek crater. And it says his dream outback adventure soon becomes a horrific reality when he encounters the site's most infamous local, Mick Taylor, played by John Jarrett. And it says when Paul attempts to flee, Mick pursues him across a hostile wasteland and eventually drags him back to his underground lair. After seeing the true magnitude of Mick's monstrosity, Paul's only hope of surviving where no one has before will be to use every ounce of cunning to outwit the man behind the monster. And let me give you another try to give you a good, and it's going to be blurry for a second, but give you some scenes right here on the back of the box. So there you go, some of the lair and whatnot. Now, what I like about this movie is the opening. I've said this so many times, when you're watching a horror movie, you need a great opening 5-minute sequence that makes you say, I want to stick around and watch the movie. This one definitely has a really good, strong opening, so it definitely left me wanting to watch. So I wasn't ready to go ahead and tune out and, you know, be done with this movie. So great job with that. And I don't want to give any spoilers, so I will not give anything away, but there is a really good opening sequence that, you know, left me with my jaw dropped. So it's very good. This one was directed by Greg McLean. Stars, and I'm going to have to pull my glasses back a little bit here, but it stars John Jarrett as the killer. Also Ryan Corr, Felipe Kloss, and Shannon Ashland. I hope I'm saying their names right. But anyways, good graphics, good kills in this movie, some really good action, some car chase scenes. There's some tractor trailer chasing a car scene in this one, so very impressed with the openings and the actual action sequences. Now, this movie kind of lets me down a lot compared to the first one. The first one, I was just from opening sequence to the end of the movie, I was blown away, loved that movie so much. This one, not so much. I mean, it's a good film to watch, but there's times in it that didn't make sense. I will say there is probably the first 20 plus minutes after that opening sequence, there's some subtitled stuff going on, so you're going to have to read part of the movie. A couple of characters are German, so they're talking in German, and I understand what they were doing, but it's weird because they were basically in a party at first, and they're talking English around English-speaking people, but then they sort of take off backpacking by themselves, and when they're by themselves, they're talking German. I know you would do that, you know, in real life, but why do it in the movie? If they're speaking English to people, just let them speak English throughout. I don't need to be reading the movie. But still, with what happens, you know, it was okay. I could kind of play it out, and that's fine. I'm not going to hate on it too much for that, because some of the fight sequences and that was well done. But like I said, it's just not as good as the first one. The first one is a really, really good film. This one's a good film. I thought the director done a really good job. There is some few scenes of some CGI stuff that happens, and it's almost Twister-esque. If you've ever seen Twister, you'll know what I'm talking about with the flying cows and that. You kind of get a sequence like that in this movie that leaves you like, yeah, I didn't need to see that. Why even put it in the movie? But whatever, I'll overlook at as well. It brought it down a little bit to me. But overall, I mean, it is a fun watch. It's a decent watch. Would I recommend people buying this one? I do, but I don't think I would, you know, tell you need to go spend $20 on this movie. I don't think you should do that. I know this one will definitely drop in price eventually, and I would definitely recommend that. I do recommend a purchase on it. I just don't think you should pay $22, $24 for it. Wait a little bit and let it drop down to about $15 and then, you know, buy it or whatever. But I love the character of John Jarrett, the main guy right here, the killer. He is such a menacing character, man. And this one, not so much in the first one. In the first one, he talks a little bit toward the end of the movie, but in this one, I mean, he is dominant throughout the movie, and he really done a tremendous job. Very creepy, just an awesome looking character that I definitely think there will be more Wolf Creeks. I hope there will be more Wolf Creeks. I like them. And a couple other scenes I wanted to mention in this movie. There is some good aerial shots. There's a scene where two of the backpackers are going to this location that's in the first one, and it's Wolf Creek Crater. And I don't know nothing about Australia, so Andrew Ballina, Stuart Balk, or any of you Australians out there that are watching, definitely comment below to let me know. I don't know if Wolf Creek Crater is a real place per se. They have it like a campground, but they definitely went to it, and there's this huge, you know, miles and miles long crater, and that's where they were going. I love the aerial shots of that. I love them going down in it and looking around. I like stuff like that. And then another sequence is a car chase with a big rig, 18-wheeler, tractor trailer, whatever you want to call it. I thought that was pretty good. I got to say, it was edge of the seat in some of the scenes. Very hard to shoot car scenes like that, so I was impressed with that. A little bit of phony, some CGI, like I said, fakery going on, but that's okay. The gore in this one is amazing. I'm telling you, if you are a gore fan, you will love this movie. Lots of gore, some really good effects. So the makeup artistry in this one is really well done. Acting as a whole is good in this one. John Jarrett done great. A few of the others were okay. They weren't superb, but they were good actors. So I definitely recommend, like I said, a purchase, but hold off until it goes down in price a little bit. I wouldn't recommend running out and spending $20 for it. Like I said, this is a slipcover case. This is a Blu-ray DVD combo. So when you open it up, you get the two there. You got the DVD and the Blu-ray. So very impressed with that. I always like to have those as well. So with that, I mean, I enjoyed it. I'm glad I have it. It definitely, I wish they would release Wolf Creek 1 on Blu-ray. I definitely want that. But overall, it's a good watch. I think you'll like it for the gore effects and that. Maybe head out to, I think it even may be on Netflix now. Maybe, I don't know. But if not, check Redbox or somewhere and rent it. And when the price drops down, then buy it. But for me, thumbs up for a great movie to a purchase. Rent it for right now. Price gets down lower, than buy it. But it's Wolf Creek 2, directed by Greg McLean. Really good second offering into this series. So hopefully this series will continue. And I do want to say a special shout out to John Jarrett, which I know he's not watching. But John Jarrett done a tremendous job, man. Such a good actor. Really want to see this character continue on. So it is Wolf Creek 2. I don't even know if it has a tagline. It just says inspired by true events. So yeah, I don't even know that it necessarily has a tagline, but it's Wolf Creek 2. Check it out. So this is Greg Mortis. This has been my Slash from the Stash. Give me a thumbs up if you liked the video. Comment below. Let me know what you thought about it. Especially, you Australian listeners that know. I want to know if there is a Wolf Creek crater. Definitely comment below and let me know about that. So calling you out. So with that, until next week, this is Greg Mortis signing out with my Slash from the Stash.